For starters, I'd like to say that it's one thing as a civilian if you break the law and you need to be apprehended by law enforcement. That's a given. But I'd like to discuss here, March the 10th. It is morning time, and my name is Bianca. I go by Bianca. I'd like to discuss what happens in Cincinnati, Ohio, with several nonprofit organizations, their mob ties, and how they move about in funneling and trafficking women and children, and how that ties in correlation to the Anna Louise Inn currently. I started off as a member at a gym called the Gamble Nippert YMCA. And unbeknownst to many customers, many of their employees and also gym members that frequent that gym are mob connected. They're sex traffickers, they're pimps. They make deals with illegal trades, maybe even more than sex trafficking, drugs, guns, um, fraud, paperwork, child exploitation, selling children physically throughout the from out the gym, and that ties into close dealings with lifeguard Zach, another lifeguard, Marilyn Horning, Tyler Cook, Bridget Berriman Werner. And several, Chris Francis, Cindy Rizzo, and the whole bit. And their mob ties, so all of these people that I mentioned have mob ties, they have gang ties, and they have cartel and sex trafficking ties that they utilize um, while they're employed in places such as the courthouse, Hamilton County, the BMV, social services, child protective services, women helping women. So this organization of crime is extremely big, especially in the tri-state area. So what happens when a victim tries to talk about or go to places like Women Helping Women or other nonprofit organizations, even the Cincinnati law enforcement, they are paid. So the law enforcement and places like Women Helping Women, Anna Louise Inn, they are paid to automatically direct the complaining victim to mental health experts. So the mob and the cartel have several doctors. I believe primarily UC health physicians do a lot of their dirty work, um, and their psychiatrists and people that are in mental health are all already aware of the sex trafficking and who is sex trafficked. So the Cincinnati police, once they receive so many calls, they will start to send aggressively mental health experts after you to try to lock you up. So one of their methods of sex trafficking physically the female or the child is to send a mental health expert to apprehend the complaining victim, which is a coercive measurement to silence and suppress the victim. Because let's face it, who wants to call the police? Who wants to tell a mental health expert and they direct you to medication or some type of incarceration? Okay, so this is one of the methods. Another one of the methods that the Cincinnati cartel uses is they pay landlords. Okay, they pay landlords. And, I talked about the Cincinnati police at the beginning. It's one thing for you to break the law and you need to go to jail. But what the Cincinnati police are doing is they are paying landlords and neighbors they are coaching. Okay, so this is deep. The Cincinnati police are coaching and paying neighbors on what constitutes as a crime. And you're like, why are they doing this? That sounds really bogus, right? That sounds bogus. Like, why would police cue neighbors and civilians on what is considered a crime to provoke someone to get them arrested because they're paying to silence certain targets in Cincinnati. And one of them, so the second method they do it is by paying the landlord to be quiet, okay? And they pay judges and lawyers. So people like Zach, people like Marilyn Horning, people like Bridget Behrman and Glenda Harris, they sign fraudulent checks. They steal people's identity. They have people in the courthouse that will help them steal people's identity and take people's money. And they also have connections, biker, gang, Masonic connections to also kill people or unalive people. Okay, so this is what's going on in Cincinnati, and they're currently paying the Anna Louise in. Okay, so the Cincinnati police are paying Beth and Gordon and several other of their staff members to allow these neighbors. Okay, so the neighbors are also getting paid and coached. Okay, so the Anna Louise management, the Anna Louise neighbors are all being paid and coached on what is considered a crime to see if they can frame me to get me locked away because they human trafficked my child back in 2023. Okay, from 2021 to 2023, the Gamble Nippert YMCA wants to keep that quiet. Okay, and so do their mob connections, and so do the law enforcement and judges and lawyers that help them do it. Okay, so currently now the Anna Louise management staff and their neighbors are getting paid, okay, by judges, lawyers, okay, and Hamilton County Police to frame me. Okay, so they're trying to figure out a way, and that is deep when you consider, being a citizen that breaks the law versus having people that are standing and doing all sorts of weird things around you to try to get some type of criminal response to call the police that are already queued in motion to arrest you. And they do this not only to me. No, not only to me. They have done this, the Cincinnati police, the Hamilton County judges, and people like Zach, Glenda, Tyler Cook, Orlando, okay? People like these predators, Glenda Harris, have done this to several women and children. So I am not the first, but I hope I am the last, okay? So that pretty much concludes this recording. And I hope I said something that could help you out of this recording. And until the next episode, take care and God bless.